Presently, my name is Naomi Hildner, and I guess my persona non grata is I'm an English teacher, but that doesn't cover it. My early childhood was in St. Louis. My dad was a fantastic violist, and he got a job in the St. Louis Symphony. I was inspired by him all my life. I heard just beautiful music. His philosophy was that every note is like your child, and even if it's itty-bitty, you still have to love it equally. My father tried to get me to play violin. I never liked violin. And then he said, well, how about viola? I said, okay, I'll try viola. I auditioned for the orchestra, and I was very bad. And my dad said, I don't think you'll get into the orchestra, but go ahead, just give it a try, and just do what you know how to do. And so I said, okay. And I did get in. I was last chair. I challenged everybody, and eventually, by the end of my sophomore year, I was first viola. So then came my senior year, and I decided at this point I wanted to major in music. I auditioned for the Boston schools, and I got into all of them. My parents wanted me to go to Harvard. I thought that would be a big mistake. I don't want to go to Harvard, a bunch of stuck-up, rich, white, privileged people. But they gave me a lot of money, so I thought I would go there. Fortunately, I got kicked out during orientation week, so that was probably the shortest stint of a Harvard kid, 3 days. And that's when I called Bernie Kadnoff. And he said, well, you know what? School hasn't started at Boston University. I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go across the Charles River, and you're going to play for some of the people in the string division at Boston University, which I did. And so I just enrolled at Boston University. That didn't totally work out. I got kicked out of there as well. But that was okay because I had, another boyfriend. And at Christmas time, he said, why don't you audition for Northwestern and just transfer to Northwestern? I said, that sounds good. I'll do that. So I did. I played an audition at Northwestern and got in. So then I went to Northwestern, and they had a lovely program. It was wonderful. But I also got kicked out of Northwestern. I started a movement where people could take off time from their classes to do sit-ins, anti-Vietnam War protests, and people got real impatient with that, especially in the music school. The music education department was not happy with this arrangement. So they kicked me out, but the applied music department kicked me back in. So I managed to get a bachelor degree in applied music at Northwestern. I still came to Chicago to gig. While I was here, I met a woman named Georgia Francis. She was starting a band. She said she'd never heard a violist that could improvise, and would I be interested in joining her band? I said, absolutely, this sounds like fun. She had just gotten that job at the Hyatt Hotel. It was 5 hours a night, 5 nights a week, Monday through Friday from 7 to midnight. And we did that for 13 years in that lobby. It started with 7 pieces, and we strolled up and down the elevators, around the lagoon. We used to play whole symphonies in the lobby of the Hyatt Hotel. We'd play a Beethoven symphony. I would just play the viola part. The 2 violinists would play the first violin part, the second violin part. The guitarist would play all the bass parts, and the pianist would play every other part. And that symphony, it sounded like a whole orchestra. It would just be piped in through the whole Hyatt Hotel. I mean, it was so fun. It was the best thing ever. So I wake up one morning, and my hand feels like I slept on it. It feels numb and tingly. Then in the course of a week, that tingliness went all the way up my left arm. I started seeing double. And then I started thinking, am I really seeing double? Did I just take drugs or something? I looked in books, health books. One thing came up over and over again, and that was multiple sclerosis. And I found somebody who was the head of neurology at the University of Chicago. And I went to him and I said, I think I have multiple sclerosis. And then I told him what my symptoms were. And by this time, it was my whole left side. And if you're a violist, you need your left side. That's everything right there. Georgia Francis kept me at the Hyatt. And I kept saying to her, I can't do this anymore. Because I couldn't feel anything. And also, I looked battered because I thought that when I walked, that my right foot would step and that my left foot would follow. And oftentimes it didn't. So I would just fall over. So I was constantly tripping. I just looked terrible. There I was in these polyester evening gowns wearing an eye patch so I could see, because without the eye patch, I saw double. But people get nervous when you're ill and when you don't look good and when you're wearing an eye patch and when you look battered. But then I just said, I cannot do this. I don't think I can even do music anymore. The guy at University of Chicago said, I want you to go to Rush Press and get an MRI. And I did. And it confirmed that I had multiple sclerosis. That's when I thought, my music career is over. And what am I going to do? So I decided to go into teaching. I went to the state and I said, what do I need? Here's all my transcripts from all my schools. What do I need in order to be able to teach? They said, well, what do you want to teach? Anything except math. So they said, well, you took a lot of English and you took a lot of history. I would go for that. So I went back to school. I decided Clinton, president, that's perfect. For any history class, any English class, so much drama. Yeah, it was good. So that's when I started. I did decide to take a treatment for my MS. They don't like it. It's called ACTH. It's a hormone. Hormone treatment is never a good thing because it's unpredictable. But I decided I can't live without the music. I'm not going to make a living at it anymore, but I can't live without it. So I did do this treatment, and it worked perfect. It usually doesn't, but for me, for once in my life, I was lucky. So I still have tingliness, but not enough to stop my playing. And so now I'm back in the jobbing. I'm doing a lot of jobbing, actually. I still play weddings. I do a lot of chamber music. I play in a couple of orchestras. I do some soloing. The secret to understanding the human condition lies in the arts. That's how we express ourselves. That's how we express ourselves on the most deepest, uncensored, personal level. It is through the arts. It's our connection. We have to pursue it all the time. There's such a limit to verbal communication. But I believe there is a limit to what we can say. The arts can take it so much deeper. And that's why I bring music into the curriculum. That's why I will never stop playing music. When I get together with friends, we play chamber music. That's what we do. And it's such a bond. I feel so bad for people who haven't found the connection. I have the arts. And I wish so much everybody did.